welcome all to Walking the Weird. I am Tyler, and as with me as always,
It's Sean, guys.
and I do have actually sad news to report. This will be our final podcast, seeing as we are not experts, so we actually can't talk about anything. And
Dude, that guy was so stupid. What was his name? Douglas Murray?
I think so.
Bro,
Yeah, that was the dumbest.
He's like, you need to be an expert. It's like, you're a commentator.
But oh no. He actually It gets worse. If anyone doesn't know, this was the Joe Rogan podcast. It's with Douglas Murray and what was it, Sam?
Oh, who cares, bro? He's a comedian. He's hilarious. Who gives a fuck?
And he does a podcast. And this guy's whole thing is that you have to have experts on, he kept going around in circles saying you don't always need experts, but also you always need experts.
He contradicted himself by saying that you needed experts to talk about certain stuff and that you couldn't hide under the veils of, oh, we're comedians. Like, obviously, me and him do. Like, we talk about conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but we make joke out of it. Like, we make light.
And when it pertains to that kind of stuff, and even like some of Sean's like true crime stuff, what experts? How, like, because
I don't have a ghost specialist that's actually caught a dozen ghosts.
Xenobiologist that deals with Bigfoot.
Yeah. He's never exactly examined Bigfoot. You know what I mean?
Like, how do you... So we just can't talk on the subject then? That's what this is?
The thing that he got mad at was that we hide under... or that we say, oh, well, we're not experts, and we give, like, these radical opinions. That's, like, our job. That's literally our job.
I don't even think he has to go that far. I think it's more so that...
And he got his ass handed to him on that podcast. Yeah. That comedian knew his shit and handed his ass to him.
It doesn't even have to go that far. It's like, oh, well, they're just hiding behind this thing. So you can't have an opinion ever.
Yeah, at all.
Because, like, apparently. Oh, well, you're just hiding behind it. It's like, no, it's literally, you don't like what they had to say. That's what it really was.
And it bothered you.
And you don't like that they didn't have someone on that said what you wanted them to say.
The comedian was Dave Smith, by the way. It was Dave Smith and then Douglas Murray, who went on the podcast.
That's
Douglas
really
Murray's,
what it was.
No, it really was. And Douglas Murray's credentials were just commentator, and he talks about historians and stuff, but he's not a historian.
No,
he doesn't have any.
He's an English major.
Yeah, it's like.
Why are you on the podcast then? What do you get to talk about?
You're not an expert in history.
Why were you talking about like Winston Churchill? They're talking about some of the
Which by the way, he makes a point by saying, or he thinks he makes a point by saying that people talk shit about Winston Churchill because what is it? Smith basically said, "Oh, the secret low-key villain to World War II was Winston Churchill because he supposedly antagonized Hitler." If you don't know, historians will tell you he did do that. He 100% antagonized
but it doesn't
Hitler.
matter. It does
because I'm not an expert apparently.
No, not even that. It doesn't matter because he would have disagreed with him with anything.
No matter what it was.
He could have been, hey, the sky's blue. Well, actually, you're not an expert, so you can't. It's like you don't get to talk either. From now on, anytime I see him, he better be 100% correct on everything he says.
Which he wasn't, by the way.
He wasn't even close. And so he made the same fallacy that I see all the time where he literally is telling everyone else they need to be 100% correct while he wasn't. And then when they called him out on it, he's like, well, I'm not an expert.
Yeah, he literally said, I'm not an expert. It's like...
You did the same thing they told you. They're like, what does it matter? He brought up people on their podcast talking about World War II. Joe and Sam had to come in and be like, they've never said they're experts.
They've never said that.
They literally make it very clear they are laymen.
And
they try and get experts on their podcast to talk about it too.
And not just that, he said that some guy was like, oh, this is like the Holocaust. He goes, I never said that. I said that the things that the immigrants are experiencing or whatever. Oh, no, the Chinese state. That the Chinese state was like a concentration camp-ish like place, and he was like, "Oh, well, you said it was like the Holocaust."
But
he goes,
that's
I
not
never
what he
said
said
that at all.
And then
I never said that.
He goes off on other podcasters that aren't even in the room, can't defend themselves, and he was wrong about them. Joe and Sam had to tell him what they said because he couldn't remember himself. So why are you yelling at someone if you don't even know what they said?
Right.
You like.
I love how
you can't do that.
I love how Smith brings up the fact of the fucking blockade. He brings up the blockade,
See,
and
I never even got this far. I got mad. I was like, Because he kept saying the same thing over and over.
He brings up the blockade over there, in the Middle East, right, that are taking like the food and supplies that people are sending, whatever,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So he brings up the blockade, and Douglas Murray denies that there's a blockade. I was like, what? We've had news articles about, like, everybody's reported on this. What do you mean we don't have it?
That's my point. They could literally have had an expert on, say what Sam said exactly to a T, and he'd be like, no, well, you're not a real expert.
They've had experts on.
Yes.
Joe Rogan has had experts on. People who are experts in World War II, during fucking World War I, who are experts in biology, who are experts in political...
It's no slight to Joe. I don't mean this. That's what Joe does. He has someone else on, and they explain to Joe.
And given how many conversations he's had with actual people who are qualified, it's actually kind of easy to say that Joe Rogan probably is qualified for that.
I love the Joe Rogan like con meme where like explain to Joe why sky is blue. Come on, glasses man.
But it's
that's
true
literally
though.
what he does.
But it's true though. He uses people's the devil advocacy to be like, okay, why this? Why this? Why this? Why?
And it makes it interesting.
And it's a great interview point because you get these people who have these either outrageous ideas or have these totally delusional ideas, and then you get them to explain it, and they realize, oh, fuck, I don't know what I'm talking about.
So, and I kind of just steering this back to our like corner of the woods over here. How do we do it? How are we supposed to do it when a lot of the so-called experts aren't experts? They're frauds.
Yeah.
What do you do? I have to spend hours upon hours researching someone. Hopefully they're not a fraud because I missed an article.
So what would he say? So what would he say about the true crimes, about the true crime cases that I've covered, where I've talked to police officers, where I've called investigators and actually gotten research from it for that to report?
Where did you go to school?
Are those not experts?
Where did you go to school?
Where did I go to school? I didn't go to
That's
school.
what he would do. That's what he would do.
But the police officers did. The investigators did. They were there. They were hands on scene. How much more expert can you get?
No. They don't know what they're talking
That's
about.
what I'm saying.
He knows what he's talking about.
That's the point with fucking Douglas Murray. It doesn't make sense.
You can't. I've actually seen this kind of thing before. That's why I found it hilarious that he was saying that, because I've seen it in like internet debates, and it's like, you don't want to be this guy.
Right.
Because now everyone is going to just be like, cool, everything you do from now is 100% like researched. It's 100%.
And he's talking about
correctly.
And he's talking about how radical white supremacists are using certain things like that, like the certain arguments that he pointed out. Yes, they are. They really are. But they also use a lot of things. They use Norse mythology. They use a bunch of things.
And they do it wrong.
Just because a group copies, it doesn't mean that everybody who believes in that shit, or who believes in like Norse mythology, is racist, or who believes in all that shit is racist.
That's not how it works.
It's just something that they adapt.
Yeah, that's not how it works. So because we have like issues like with like certain like motorcycle clubs and stuff that do actually do crime, that means motorcycles are evil,
racist.
Right? Yeah. That's literally what he's getting at there.
And you can't have such a closed-minded aspect. Oh, it either is or isn't, because there's always situations where it's a gray area. And even with that, he's putting on the typical debate where he laughs at people, he makes jokes about people without hearing any of the facts because he's already wrong, and he keeps like burying himself in this type of contradiction.
I actually disagree with you. I think he did worse than that. He would say what he thought he meant and then go back on it in the same sentence.
Literally the same sentence.
I actually stopped listening. You got way farther than I did.
I listened to the whole thing.
I was literally just like, you are literally just saying the same thing over and over and over.
The whole podcast.
And I was like, I had listened to it for about an hour, and I was like, I have gained exactly zero understanding of what the hell you are talking about.
And like a lot of people like there are a lot of people in the World War II community who take shots at Churchill, which is one of the topics that was talked about in this. But okay, everyone takes shots at everybody. Nobody handled that situation right in World War II. Neither the Russians, not the Germans, Japan. Nobody.
And didn't he bring up like, oh well, the one thing I remember is like, oh well, you know, they're kind of, you know, making it seem like Hitler was okay, and Sam and Joe are just sitting there just like,
nobody
the
made
fuck
it.
Are you talking about?
Nobody has ever made anything that Hitler did okay. The big thing that people get confused with, and again, This is from a history perspective. I've asked historians. I've asked history department leads.
But you don't have to do that. That's the thing. That's
I shouldn't have to, but whatever. I'm gonna. Even if you study sociology, fucking economics and everything will tell you that between the years that Hitler first was in power, he did a lot of good for the German people and the German economy. That is nothing that can be debated about. He did it. Sorry. If you don't like it, that's not my problem. But what he did afterwards, yes. He brings up a point there where he said that the so-called anti-Semitism, he was kind of keeping it like, he said that, people were saying that he was keeping it kind of under wraps when he wasn't. He was keeping it under wraps a little bit. Not a lot. Not to the extent that maybe a lot of people think. He was keeping it a secret a little bit. And the reason was because the whole world, literally the whole world, ask anybody. Literally ask anybody in that time. The whole world, France, fucking America, Japan, everybody. They were all anti-Semitists.
Yeah,
every single one. That's not new.
Not like a fringe thing.
Everyone was. Everyone
it
was.
was a lot.
Everyone was until this shit started happening where it went left and people started killing. And then all of a sudden, Henry Ford decided that he didn't hate Jews all of a sudden. Like, come on, bro. We knew your shit.
And I think, honestly, and it's no slight to you, Sean, I think you just wasted your breath because you tried to make his point for him. I don't even think you knew what the fuck he was talking about.
No, probably not.
Like,
probably
there's
not.
no point in even saying his perspective because in the next sentence he would go back on it.
He would go back on it.
So it's like, well, which one?
So then what are you arguing about if you're just going back on it?
And like, I think we should get into our case because it needs to be said because when I see things like that, it's like, okay, where do I go to find a ghost expert that's not like
crazy?
Not yeah.
Or what about those Bigfoot people that think that they slept with Bigfoot?
They're an expert.
They're a thorough expert, bro, inside and out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They use that pinky.
It's like, okay, so what qualifies? He gave no parameters of who's an expert, who isn't. Well, what if like, okay, let's say you have someone who has a doctorate in history and someone who has a major in history. And the guy who has a doctorate in history, he on purpose says incorrect things. Like his entire argument is completely incorrect. And the guy with the major, he says, like he rebuffs the doctor and says everything correct. Which one do you believe? I think, honestly, he would say the doctor you should believe because he has more credentials. Because that's what he was doing.
And the doctor could just bullshit it. Like, it's the same thing before that podcast. Rogan had another podcast with, wasn't it Cuba Gooding Jr.? And then, oh my God, what's his name? Was it Harris?
No.
Who was the scientist? Was it Weinstein or?
Yeah.
Weinstein. So he had him on. And they were telling him, it's like, hey, just because you've heard some of these words and just because you've heard some of these things doesn't mean you know what they are. I think he needs to get on the podcast with Douglas Murray and be like, hey, bro, just because you know these fancy words that you toss in doesn't mean you know what the fuck you're talking about.
And he would probably laugh at him when he's talking about the elitism and stuff. He's like, I literally have degrees.
Yeah, I literally have
better
credentials.
than you.
Yeah.
And I don't do this.
Yeah.
Most of the people I've ever met that are very secure in what they know don't do that.
Yeah.
They don't. I know doctors, and I didn't know they were a doctor because they didn't want me to call them doctor. They just introduced me as like, oh, I'm Tom.
Which, by the way, Douglas Murray, I'm just gonna let you know right now, all those credentials that he has, they're very minimum, and all historians disagree with him. Like, go look it up, go Google it. Douglas Murray, just 2 seconds. Every historian that has ever lived disagrees whatever the fuck he says.
I don't even think you have to go that far because
every economist also disagrees with him. By the way,
he didn't even know the people he was like. He came on there to bash.
He didn't listen to their stuff.
So what are you doing?
Well, wait, hang on. You didn't listen to this podcast either. I recommend you go back and listen to it because it's atrocious.
I listened to the first part.
You need to listen to all of it. It's atrocious. It's that bad.
I don't have that much time.
It's that bad, bro. It's that bad.
I was listening to it while I was working, and I was getting too mad. And you can't do that. So,
dude, it was so bad. Even like from a historical standpoint, he's like, "Oh, he didn't do that." I was like, "Yes, he did."
But
no, he didn't. But yeah, he did. I'm like, "You're wrong on every aspect."
Again, I think you're giving him too much credit. You don't have to get that far,
bro.
From his first statement when he started the podcast, hostile. It'd be like if I started the podcast and I just went to Sean and like, hey, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That's literally what he did. And then they're like, you could tell they're both Joe and Sam were like, oh,
Yeah.
I thought we were just gonna kind of talk, but okay.
Even
like,
Rogan had to be like, hey,
now.
bro, you have to let him talk. You have to let him finish. Like, you can't just keep interrupting him like that. Like, what the fuck? You're not letting him
and
get
you
anything
could
out.
you could from the very first second you could tell just the energy in the room. It was just hostile, and it's all from him.
Right.
But
well, speaking of credentials, this case that we have, it's a case for Steven Kubacki. Or Kubacki, whatever the fuck his name is. Some weird-ass name. I don't even know why he's here. Anyway, Kubacki. Oh, that sounds like a fucking anime name. Kubacki. Or a Mongolian name. Anyway, the point is, so he has a bunch of credentials. He currently has his PhD in psychology and behavioral psychology, all that stuff. Anyway, in 1978, in February 1978, Steven decided to go on a cross country skiing trip. Right, he started off in Michigan, just on the shore of Lake Michigan, actually, and he actually vanished. He ended up disappearing. This case actually made it onto a very popular show on Hulu. Go check it out. It's called Missing 411. There's a book attached to it. His case is in there. He ended up disappearing. He went alone. He had no backup, which is usually what you don't do when you go skiing. When you go on treks by yourself, you don't do that because you need to always have someone. Obviously, that knows where you're going.
It seemed like from what I read that he actually planned to just be gone for like a day or two.
Yeah, it's like a day and a half that he planned to be gone. Like
yeah.
it wasn't really too much long, or too long from what he describes. Shortly after he went missing, pretty much the second he was gone for longer than they said, they threw the helicopters up in the air. They started search parties. They did all that. He ended up missing for quite some time. It looks like he ended up what?
Sorry, I just wanted to show the show. Sorry, he actually left a 200-yard trail of footprints in the snow. 200 yards.
And it ended right at the lake. It ended right at the lake with a lot of his effects.
Past the edge of the lake.
Oh, yeah, past the edge of the lake. I'm sorry. You're right. Past the edge of the lake.
And it says it ended abruptly. Like, it just stopped.
Yeah.
Like,
which initially led investigators to believe that he might have drowned and stuff because there was personal effects and everything like that. But there was no evidence of him, like, having an accident or whatever. But originally it was ruled that way. It wasn't until May 5th, 1979, well over a year that he was missing, that he woke up in a grassy knoll in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, over 700 miles away from where he originally started his trip. Now, that's a lot of snow. If you want my opinion, that's a lot of snow to traverse. But according to him, he has no memory. He had no memory whatsoever of the 14 and a half months that he was out, that he trudged along. He had no memory, no recollection. A lot of the searchers were like, and obviously with this case, there was a lot of speculation from a lot of things, even going as far as testing DNA found in John Wayne Gacy's house.
I was just about to bring that up because they were like,
to see
oh shit,
Steven,
like, did he fight? Like,
because he matched his profile. He matched Gacy's profile, his victim profile, to the T. So they thought that maybe, just maybe, the killer clown striked again. But fortunately, he didn't. He was found, woke up, found himself, and he had said to early reporters, early EMTs, people who addressed him, that he felt like he was running a lot. It indicated, it indicated that when he woke up, he had traveled widely. He said that he had stuff like memorabilia and stuff from Sacramento, San Francisco, Reno, Chicago, and Utah. He also had $40 in cash, new glasses, new sneakers, and a T-shirt from a marathon in Wisconsin. He said to everybody that he had felt like he had done a shit ton of running before he woke up. Now, he still remained that he had no clue. He told a reporter that he believed the blackout was caused by exhaustion and exposure, and said he would see a medical doctor or a physical, but he would not be seeing a psychiatrist. For whatever reason, he did not want to see a psychiatrist.
But he became one.
and yet he became one.
That's weird. Like, you think he'd have, like, respect for that field. Like, oh,
Right.
yeah. Like,
I think, and this goes to the theories because, unfortunately, that's where that story ends. He disappeared for 14 and a half months and came back. He hitchhiked to the nearest fucking payphone and he said, hey, let me call my wife, who hadn't seen him for fucking 14 and a half months. Probably moved on by that point and was like, hey, can you pick me up? It's like...
And I do also want to, with the 700 miles, like, that he's, like, apparently traveled, you can draw a near perfect straight line between, like, the point where he left to the point where he was found on the map. Like, that's... Yeah, you can draw a straight line anywhere. That's a little weird. You're, like, normal, I guess, but that's still weird that it's...
almost perfectly straight line. There's nothing really that he traversed. However, if you look back at all his effects, he went everywhere before he ended up 700 miles. So God knows how that fucking line actually looked like. Because again, and if you like, one of the things that came up with this case, a lot of people keep bringing up the chart that shows the major caves in the United States, and a lot of where he was in the area was a lot of cave systems. So who knows if he was in his delirium and went into a fucking cave, luckily emerged to the other side and just continued and was already in another place. Now, because of this case, there was a ton of speculation. People documented UFO sightings that aligned with his disappearance when he reappeared. There was also people who claimed that they saw him being dragged by Bigfoot, which I have no clue. There's people who said he was running down the street with tall figures.
What if this is all real?
Yeah,
like,
right. Imagine the dude had the
crazy.
greatest adventure ever.
This poor guy, like, he's like, oh, I made it back. No, like
he got abducted, and the second he got dropped back up, Bigfoot just grabbed him and was like, "Let's go, bro." He's like, "No, wait,"
and he doesn't remember any of it.
Yeah. But according to what people say, guys like this guy right here, our buddy Paul, abducted him, I guess, and did experiments on him, and then people said that they saw him down the street walking with really tall beings that were shadowy, and you know what people say. And there was other conspiracies that he was involved with a serial killer and ended up in his delirium killing like 3 people, 4 people. They never proved any of this, but that was the idea. Yeah. There was ideas that he was also the I-5 killer because he went to Sacramento and San Francisco, which are both right along the I-5. So there was a bunch of theories that went out. The craziest one I heard was that he was secretly part of the Russian mob and was trying to extract specific plans from the capital, from the old capital, which is why he ended up like in fucking like Pittsburgh and he did all that shit and everything like that. And yeah, apparently that was the craziest one. He went on some like 100%. Nicolas Cage National Treasure bullshit.
100%.
Yeah, I believe that. Like if there's a map on the Declaration of Independence, he found it. Steven.
Yep.
So he did all. He apparently went through all this, and people have mentioned so many theories. Like again, like just a few of those. Some of them included, government conspiracies where he was secretly tested with LSD. I mean, we know that part is true, but maybe not with him. But like, who knows?
So he's the like grab bag for like conspiracy theories.
He's the Forrest Gump of conspiracy theories.
He's what's his name? The guy that jumped out of the airplane and they
DB
never
Cooper?
found him. Yeah, he's DB Cooper. Why not?
Well, actually, hang on. There was a conspiracy theory as I was reading that he might have
Kubacki, Cooper.
He might have been either an accomplice of DB or DB himself, continuing his reign of like random crimes and stuff. I'm like,
but he stopped and then became a psychologist.
And then he stopped and got his PhD and said, "Fuck this life."
Okay. That's what makes me know, like, oh, he's a serial killer. Then why didn't he do it ever again?
Look, I understand.
Usually it's a compulsion.
Right.
Like,
it's like a compulsion. There's very, very few serial killers that we know of that
they might stop for years, but not ever completely.
We saw that with BTK where he stopped for a good amount of years before. What was it, 7 years before he even?
I think it was something like that. It was long enough to where they're like, oh shit, we might never find him again.
The reason that he stopped was because his wife caught him doing a chokey pulley on the doorknob, so he had to stop for like 7 years. Do you know what a chokey pulley is?
You know what? In regards to BTK, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know what that is. But yeah, so there was a bunch of conspiracy theories. I'm not sure which one is credible. The closest one that seems to me is the fugue state. I think he did have a fugue state just because he was probably very dehydrated, because even that the stopping at the edge of the water indicates that maybe he was overheated and he tried to cool himself off and he went into a delirious state. I think that could have been it, maybe.
Part of me thinks he just wanted to get away.
Yeah.
I mean, because he look where he went. He went to he ran a race.
He ran
marathons.
Just
like all this
It could just be that he
just needed some time,
or maybe he had a little squeeze somewhere else, and then I don't know, and just went on this thing.
And I also read that like his ex-wife said that she wouldn't talk about what happened. Like he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't like talking about it. I believe he recently passed away. I don't
Did
think
he?
I think
I didn't
so.
see that he passed away.
But
recently. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it could be a different guy. Like it's just a long time. Like,
yeah,
it's.
He was.
And he doesn't remember. He has all these places, so
he was fucking bitches
there.
for sure. He had different hoes and different area codes, and then he just came back and was like, "I'm done with this," because. Why doesn't he want to talk about it? Anybody who doesn't remember would be like, I don't remember. What do you want me to do? Like, I can't bring it up.
Then that would be the end of all.
Yeah.
Like
oh, I can't bring. I don't remember. What do you mean?
What do you want me to do?
But if he's like, oh, I just don't want to talk about it. It's like, so you remember, so you know what happened,
or you remember parts of it and you don't want to,
and you don't want to remember.
Yeah.
God knows how many transsexuals he got.
There's one thing that I haven't found and I was kind of looking for.
What, transsexual?
No.
Oh.
Is that if he's religious?
Oh, I'm like, you said it right after what I said, so you can't blame me for thinking that.
No,
like for that.
Like maybe, he he doesn't want to talk about it because it goes against like his beliefs or something. Like something did happen to him and he can't handle whatever it is, so he just doesn't talk about it. Like, because I have seen where they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about my abduction because I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe this is real.
I was gonna be like, I don't remember the part in Exodus where he says, "If thou is in woods, please don't speak of thou."
It's
I've never seen that.
I think it's chapter 32, line 1 and 2. Look it up.
Thou shalt not speak about the time in the forest.
Yeah. Thou shalt not listen to
I'm just saying. I think he was just like a little nut to butt with a few people, and he just.
I think you just need to get away.
Whatever. You say it your way, I said it my way.
It just seems like, one, how do you get the money to like,
and then end up with $40 cash? Like, bro, you got your pockets turned out, my guy.
You had a backpack filled with maps and hitchhiking signs from Sacramento, San Francisco, Reno, Chicago, and Utah. Again, $40 in cash, new glasses, sneakers, and a T-shirt from a marathon.
Just tell me you were fucking bitches without telling me you were fucking bitches.
Like, it just seems like you had fun.
Yeah.
Just say you had fun. It's okay.
Hey, I had a lot of fun and I got fucked up during it. All right, cool.
I couldn't handle my life anymore. So
she's your ex-wife for a reason. Like, you don't need to keep it hidden. Let's go. Put it on YouTube. Do what the rest of us are doing.
No, I mean, no one would like be embarrassed. It was what, 1978?
Hang on. A chokey pulley is still very embarrassing.
Again,
I don't care what anybody says. If you get caught doing a chokey pulley, it's very embarrassing.
Can't believe I have to do this every episode. The views of Sean do not reflect the views of Walking the Weird podcast. No, but like it's this. It was 1978. It's. If he wanted
Summer
to
of
go
love,
off,
man.
Yeah, if he wanted to go off and have an adventure and do his own thing, no one would have cared at that time.
I wonder if we could attach these dates to like Metallica dates or like Megan. Maybe he was just a metalhead.
Dude, he was following the Dead.
The Grateful Dead.
Yep, he was following the Dead. That's what it is.
That whole LSD trip, bro.
That's why he doesn't remember.
That Duncan Trussell adventure.
It's all just a big blue blur,
bro, or some color.
and for him to be like out for that long, like, how'd you feed yourself?
Yeah.
How do you do you have multiple multiple personalities? Do you have like is there do you or as I've heard, do you have headmates?
Headmates.
Yeah.
Headmates. I like that one. Headmates. And also, because he said that it was probably brought on by exhaustion and everything. Well, if you fixed that, wouldn't it go away?
You'd think so.
I mean, I'm not an expert, Mr. Murray, but, you know, like, wouldn't it go away?
It's just what brought it on, like, the fact that it's never happened again. It'd be interesting if it's like, oh, like, he realized that this happens every once in a while.
Yeah, I had an uncle who can't remember certain things in Ecuador, but now he's in jail for whatever reason. I'm just saying.
It was his headmates.
Or something.
But like,
maybe not the headmates that you're talking about, but I'm just saying.
It's just like,
it just seems convenient that you disappeared for 14 and a half months. And then we're like, yeah, bro, fugue state. Like, the last person I heard of that was Walter White from Breaking Bad, and he made meth. So what did you do?
And I actually just looked at something. What also is catching me off guard, new glasses. I looked at, and there's a photo of him, like, hugging his dad after they're, like, reunited. They're not, like, sunglasses. They're, like, prescription glasses.
So he had an eye test.
Yeah, like...
At some point.
But no one knows where he's been. Like
that sounds to me a little methy. That just sounds to me like a little methy.
It's a weird because if you're that like out of it, why would you get glasses?
And also the conspiracy theories don't fit. If I've been abducted by Bigfoot, the last thing I'm gonna be like, you know what? I should check my prescription. Just real casually, I'm gonna walk into this Target Optical and see what's going on. Like,
that makes sense.
Or if I got anal probed by aliens, not saying that you do, Paul, but, you know, whatever. But the last thing I'm going to be like is, oh, bro, I need a shit, but real quick, Target Optical. Hang on. Like.
Hey, he's a multitasker.
You can't ungape yourself and test your eyes at the same time, I don't think.
They have alien technology.
I think there's a lot of, like, HIPAA violations with that, but it's also 1978.
And to be fair, how many crystals did he have?
True. We always forget the crystals.
You didn't even ask that.
You didn't even ask the crystals. That's like the basic. That's like, what's your heart rate? How many crystals did you have in front of you? Like,
that's how it is in my household. It's okay. Yeah, your arm's gone. I gave you Onyx.
Did you even try Tiger Eye? Because you're not even trying over there.
It's not my fault you're bleeding.
What do you think happened to him?
I generally think
Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah, he went to go
gamble.
He went to go have fun.
He went to a lot of massage parlors, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, not even that far. I think he just got tired. Maybe being in college, maybe just dealing with all this crowd. He's just like, I gotta go, and then eventually he's like, well, I can't stay gone forever. I have to come back, and then he's in a field.
The idea that you don't think that he went to a bunch of massage parlors is wild to me. You don't think that... Wouldn't that be the first place that you would go? You're like, no, dude, I would be normal.
No.
I'm just...
You guys could easily find me, like, he's at the Warhammer store. How do you know? Just go
there and look,
go to the store. He's there.
But to end up in a field is wild. It's like...
But I don't...
Can you imagine the farmer? You know I see you, right? I randomly woke up here. No, you didn't.
He's like, it's in a field across from, like a used car sales, right?
A lot or something. I don't know.
And they didn't see him. They didn't see him like jog up and all.
Of course they did. Like, of course they did. Danny trying to make commission was like, I saw you, bro, and he gave him $100, and he's like, I don't know what I saw, bro.
I saw a UFO just drop him. So,
I just saw a UFO drop him, bro. We gonna keep this, ourselves, my guy.
You're gonna get that. You can drive that Mustang off the lot. Like
he gave him $100, bought a car, and gave him a brick of meth, and said, "All right, cool, we good."
And like, I don't know. You'd think that you'd want to know why that happened to you, and it doesn't seem like he cares.
It's because he knows.
Yeah,
like it's because he knows.
He knows. He knows exactly. He knows you just left.
He knows about the Taiwanese transsexuals and those massage parlors. He knows about it.
Again,
he knows about it. Come on, come on, bro. Come on.
It's just
he just forgot that he was the one doing the probing.
If it was like 2 days, you'd be like, oh wow, that's really. But it's like
that was a wild
14
time, bro.
months.
You did some shit.
You didn't. Yeah, you remember.
You did some shit. You remember.
Even if it's not like crazy, but like maybe he just went off and just traveled around. You remember.
The only times I've heard of
that's
this,
why he doesn't want to talk about it.
the only times I've heard of something like this happening is like with dementia patients that they end up like in their car and whatever. And it's not for 14 months. It's for like 2 days.
Yeah, and sadly,
then they remember that they're Sally from Jack in the Box.
Yeah, or it ends up really, really bad. Sadly, like it's not. You're not in a fugue state for that long. Like you could be, but how are you okay?
How did you feed yourself?
Like,
how did you shower? How did you maintain? How did you think I'm gonna go to Target Optical and get my prescription renewed?
How do you have money? Like, what? Like, there's no. That doesn't make sense.
The new glasses trips me out, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like
in a fugue state, you were like, "Hey, bro, I can't."
The aliens are like, "Hey, bro, here you go." It's like, you can't give me goggles. Like, give me new eyes.
Don't you guys have like technology to just fix my shit? Can't you just like cut in there?
Actually, I think that'd be an interesting question to ask. I know he'd never answer, and like I said, I think he's dead, so he probably can't answer. Were the new glasses his prescription, or they just?
If they weren't, why would he be wearing them?
Well, like the aliens dropped him off, and they just clothed him and shit.
I get
he's
you,
not human, but like
I get you. But if you woke up and you have glasses on that don't match
you're
your
gonna
prescription, you're gonna take them off. You're gonna
Yeah.
be like, "What the fuck is that?" And then so why did he still have them on? Because he has them on in the pictures. He has them on in all the stuff, and like if they're not your prescription, why do you have them on?
I think you just went off and had fun.
Yeah, of course. Because like again,
and you ran a marathon. Good for you. And wait, how did you sign up for a marathon?
Yeah. You have to show ID.
Well, it was back in 70. Like,
oh, you don't think they had IDs in 73?
no,
Racist.
I'm saying like, wouldn't you have to? Wow, wouldn't you have to give them like your
Registration?
your like name? Like, well, they hung out with the aliens too. Like they're just running with him. Like, I don't.
Paul and his buddy George were like, I mean, I guess we'll watch you. Like,
I just don't. I don't get it. That doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't make sense at all. You stopped by Vans, then Target Optical, and then said, "I'm gonna be in the field." Well, Danny watched you go there, and it's like, bro, you're not hiding from anybody. Like, and were you on foot the whole time? Because he must have had a car at some point.
And so the $40 in cash, the new glasses, sneakers.
Also in the 70s, $40 is quite a bit.
And by the way, they never say if he's actually wearing the sneakers or the T-shirt from a marathon in Wisconsin.
He's wearing them.
He's wearing them?
Yeah, he's wearing them. When they found him, he had it on. Because he didn't have...
Did the sneakers fit your feet?
Otherwise, why would you be wearing them, Tyler?
I don't... That's what I'm saying. Like,
if you woke up...
It actually changes things. Because if they don't, it actually fits with the, something happened. But if it's like, you're a 9.5 and they gave you a 9.5, it's like...
Tyler, your size what, 12?
I'm a 9.5.
You're 9.5? Holy shit, man. You have small feet. Anyway, me too. But still, like, it's like if they gave you a pair of 6 shoes. If you wake up and you feel 6 shoes on your feet, are you going to take them off? Yeah. Or are you going to be like, no, I'm going to go hitchhike real quick?
Even if it's like a 12, I'm going to look like I got Shaq shoes.
Shaq shoes. Hilarious. Anyway.
But like,
your first instinct is to take them off.
Or you're going to walk, well, maybe not take them off. If it's hot or like I'm on rough terrain, I might not take them off. But the second I get on terrain where I can, I would take them off.
He's in Massachusetts. It's cold.
But it's just the details are so very thin. Yeah. And it's like, where's the rest of this?
And literally, go online. What we're telling you is all we found. Is all anybody could find.
I think we have the same article, and we both found it at different points, and this is it.
And this is all it. I tried looking for
this is the most one. This is the most. This is the most one. No, this is the most detailed one I found because everything else I found has less.
Yeah.
And it apparently this is like really, really popular, but there's no details because he doesn't talk about it. But I don't know. Do you have anything else with the case? Because I really don't. Like, I don't. What do you do?
I was trying to look up any little thing I could find. No, that's it. It's all. It's what the case was. It was just the missing fugue stake for 14 months. People came up with all these crazy ass things. None of them which can be corroborated. It's just like word of mouth. Like there's no evidence to.
The part I like is the 200.
Taiwanese?
No, the 200 what was it, like feet of tracks or whatever, and then it just stops. If he somehow did that, he did a damn good job. Like, if he faked it, he did a good job.
How? He could have just gotten a boat.
Where'd you get the boat?
If he planned this just to go have fun and sneak away at the massage parlors, like, you don't think you had a boat? That would be the first thing I'd get. I would have gotten at least a kayak.
That's fair.
Throw that bitch in there. Fucking paddle across to the other side.
I just don't. I wish he would have explained, like, what was going on, but since he didn't, it's like,
I'm telling you.
I'm sorry. I have
that is the reason why I say massage parlors. Otherwise, there would be no reason. I can't think of anything else embarrassing that could have happened.
Would you believe him more if he didn't come back with that kind of stuff with him, or if he just came back with like a weird pair of clothes? Like,
No,
just
I
random?
still wouldn't believe him.
No,
I still wouldn't believe him because for the sole fact that he's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. That's the thing that does it for me. Not so much the other stuff, but that stuff is what does it for me.
I think it's it would make it a little bit more believable if like he didn't want to talk about it, but I want to gauge his reaction to saying he doesn't want to talk about it. Like, I want to see how he says it.
Right.
Because if it's just like, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, the people from the things that I found, he was very aloof and hesitant to talk about it.
Yeah, that's what makes me think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because if when he says I don't want to talk about it, he's clearly scared. That's different. There's like, oh, like something happened. Like, you don't know what it is, but you don't want to talk about it. But
maybe they switched the massage table on him, bro, and all of a sudden he was the bottom. You never know. You never know. Bigfoot had his way with him in a bush.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. The Hope College, a small private Christian university near southeastern shore of Lake Michigan. So maybe it's a religious thing. Like, he doesn't want to talk. Like he wanted to do his thing, and he doesn't want to talk about it because he wants to be like, yeah, I didn't do any of that. Like,
he got freaky with them Taiwanese boys, guys, whatever you're into. I'm just saying, because other than that, if you were religious, like uberly religious, like I am a Christian, like to the death, like I sacrifice people, like that's how Christian I am, right? And all of a sudden, I meet aliens. Why would I continue with those beliefs? Why would I be like, yeah, dude? I'd be like, no, bro, fucking these guys from the planet Garlac just fucking kidnapped me.
Yeah, Glip Glorp is an asshole.
Dude. Yeah, dude, that guy's a dick. Fuck that guy. Like, I would totally snitch. I would be like, no, bro, I'm not even that anymore. You can't tell me God when fucking Rudd from fucking the uranium system comes down.
Well, even with that, there is people that think like aliens, they're part of creation. Also, I'm like they can piece that into.
You're telling me God had sidebands? What a dick.
Yeah, so they're the like stepchildren.
The stepchildren. Wow, what, the redheaded stepchildren? Yep.
You're welcome.
Damn.
But like it's I don't believe this is paranormal.
This reminds me of the case of the guy who was like, yeah, bro, I wanted to have sex with all those aliens that were attractive and were looking at me weird. It's like, and it's just A, they weren't, B, no, you didn't, and C, you never got on there.
So like their muscles, and it's like, dude, you're gay. It's okay. It's all right.
The exemplary, perfect abs that the man had. It's like, oh, so you're gay. Okay, I got you.
Can I tell you about his pecs? No, you're just gay.
Just stop, bro.
Okay.
Just stop.
It's all right.
Please stop.
You're fine.
Like it's cool. Just don't blame it on aliens. Yeah. Like we love you, just not on aliens. What did they do?
Fine. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't.
Yeah.
This one is, I don't believe. I think it's an interesting story.
Yeah, I thought you'd find it fun because it was on Missing 411. So I figured that you'd actually like it. I used to love
this case, and then I started reading into it. I'm like, oh man, I didn't know all this.
This case is all woo. All of it is woo. It's hilarious. But that's the case.
Well, cool. Did we do it? Did we do it good enough, Murray? Was that okay?
As an English major,
are you gonna sign off on it? You fucking asshole.
He's already dead inside. Leave him
I'm
alone.
sorry. I'm so mad.
He's already dead inside.
But yeah, I think that's the end of our episode. No, we'll see you guys again. We're not ending our show because some douchebag thinks he knows better.
Yeah, I don't know better. Oh, Murray.
See you guys. Other douchebag.